Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from group 3 and we are to present our analysis theory about short story and poem. My name is Difyarizky Vida Pralestyan with my friends Vida Amilia, Bulan, Anggun, Kinanti, Miftakhur Rohmah, and Annisa Meutiasari. The first presentation will be with Vida Amilia. You may share your screen.
Okay, thank you. Maaf, boleh ini hostnya nggak? Can you see my screen? Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vida Amilia, and now I want to show you all tales about an analysis of feminism in Maya Angelou by the poem Phenomenal Woman. Phenomenal Woman is the second poem of Maya Angelou that the writer analyzes. In general, the poem expresses Maya Angelou's pride on confidence as a woman. Feminism, according to Maggie Ham, the dictionary of feminism theory, is explained as a term used by the feminism to describe the ideology of female quality of being better. Furthermore, it is explained feminism is a doctrine for a woman to have the equal right of men. And it also means feminism is an ideology of social transformation, which happened to make social equality between men and women. And then to introduction. According to Collins, Black feminism thought knowledge, consciousness, and the politic of empowerment work might be better conceptualized by examining the range of work that African or American women actually perform. Work as alienate labor can be economically exploitative, physically demanding, and intellectual detaining. Black women's status that do this thing are called mule. And the next, the analysis in the Phenomenal Woman, Maya Angelou explained what makes her a powerful woman, even if it's what scientific tips reading. It begins in the first sense when Pretty Woman asks to her where her secret lies. Then Angelou explained where her secret lies. She said that her secret is not in her face or with her body. In line 2 from the poem, I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size. She said that neither she is cute nor her body is ideal for a size of fashion model clothes or size that suits to a fashion model like a proportional or slim. In short, she states that she is physically unattractive for the Pretty Woman. And Phenomenal Woman is poem of Maya Angelou, which reflect about Black feminism and feminism social. Phenomenal Woman with Black woman with women and their different point of view in seeing beauty. In the poem Phenomenal Woman, Maya Angelou tells that she is such a confident woman who proudly claims that she is beautiful, although the others do not feel the same. A female woman seen from Black feminism view, it's invitation, or we can say that it's order to Black women to be confident. She asks Black women to be confident because of start of beauty system in the daily life. Prevalent standard of beauty claim that no matter how intelligent, how educated or beautiful a Black woman might be, these Black women whose features and skin color are most African or American must hit back within the binary thinking that underpins intersecting oppression. Blue eyes, blonde, then with white woman could not be considered beautiful within the others. It's called in 2000. For the next slide, the conclusion about the conclusion. Maya Angelou give the idea to the Black woman to do better, to act something, to have a new understanding of thinking and to be confident. So they are not underestimated and oppressed, and they have better life to life with the equality in the society. And then from the poem Phenomenal Woman, the researcher finds several forms of struggle for women who experience injustice or discrimination by an irresponsible society. Maybe that's all my explanation about the poem Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. So if there are any questions, you can ask to me. Maybe I can answer it.
What is the mean by the theory of a Black feminism in the poem?
Okay, thank you, Mifta. I can answer it. Now it's back again from according to Colin. A Black feminism is the knowledge, awareness, and the politic of empowerment roadmap to be better conceptualized by examining the range of work actually done by American or African women. Actually done by African American women. So the theory of Black feminism from Colin 2000 to analyze how Black feminists tell in Maya Angelou poems to figurative language and imagery. The writer concludes that the Black women in this poem are independent. The women strong, confident, and also like you can say brave. And African American Black feminism want to show that that there is power within them to initiate change, even though they are perceived by issue of race, gender, and social status difference. Various pressure in society make them African or American women have awareness and vigilance of their own condition. And they began to voice their thoughts towards those who oppress them. That's my answer for your question. So, okay, that's all from me. I'm sorry if I have a mistake for the pronunciation or other. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Vida, for the presentation. Now, next will be Bulan Anggun Kinanti. You may share your screen. Can everyone see my screen? Oh, sorry. You can hear my voice? Yeah.
Okay. Present feminism theory on women at point zero by Nawal El-Sadawi. For wait a minute. Sorry. For the introduction. Oh wait a minute. Sorry. Okay. For the introduction, Nawal El-Sadawi is an Egyptian feminist novelist and physician. She's a published woman at point zero in 1975. The novel is based on Sadawi meeting with a female prisoner in Kinanti prison and is the first-person account of Firdaus' murders, who has agreed to tell her life story before her execution. Uh, it relies on her own experience of being punished for speaking out against injustice against women in Egypt to create a sympathetic image of victim of the stigmatized because uh, patriarchal cultures in Arab, or we call Egypt. And then it's Firdaus is based on a lady Sadawi encounter while working as a psychiatrist, psychiatrist and researcher on the psychological effect of jail for women in Egypt. For the feminist theory, feminism is about all genders having equal rights and opportunity, and it's about respecting diverse women experiences, identities, knowledge, and strengths, and striving to empower all women to realize their rights. So feminism is about the advocate for equal rights and opportunity for all genders. So it's not about women, but it's about all genders. It's feminist, and it is about valuing fair woman experience, identities, and expertise, and their talents, uh, and empowering all women to realize that they're full of rights. So there's a feminism theory on women at point zero. In this theory, in this story, the novelist explain how difficult it is for a woman named Firdaus to fight for her woman rights. So the main character, Firdaus here, who has never been loved since her childhood, she gave up all her body and spirit, expecting nothing to return but the safety of being loved. So in this story, it's actually the novelist want to explain to us how difficult it is for a woman named Firdaus to fight for her own right, her woman rights. Uh, and this novel tells us the dark side faced by what Firdaus and not Firdaus, but tells us about the Egyptian woman in midst of Arab culture, which is it still has a patriarchal cultures, because as we know, maybe some of us still don't know that Arab is the country that many for their condition, whereas the women uh, are not guaranteed. For the social struggles, the story is represent the socioeconomic environment and circumstances in Cairo in 1970. Abandonment and low self-worth and ownership and gender power are important themes in Woman 8.0. The key themes in this novel are pervasive sexism and oppression, prostitution and transactional relationship, terror and survival, and religious hypocrisy. So it's about a result of imbalance. It's because the imbalance of relation, women are often limited. Women are limited in their space of movement between the private and public. And then the next slide is the conclusion. The novel A Woman 8.0 by Nawal Sadawi shows us how strong Firdaus in living her life from childhood to adult, where the woman who should have the right to be free are constrained by the treatment of those around her. At the end, the novel Woman 8.0 had a big impact on women in Arab or in Egyptian. Because it's what I said before, it's because the imbalance relation for women between women and men, and whereas women are often limited in their space of being movement, and then for the private leads to the household are which is stereotype that it's always for women. Then the public domain such as a man as an employment, and the state is intent for men. Patriarchal cultures also make women inferior because of their bodies, and the situation causes women is experience discrimination in all aspects, both economic, political, and social. And there's quotes from this novel, Woman 8.0. Life is very hard. The only people who really live are those who are harder than life itself. So thank you for. So that's it for my present. Is there any question?
Maaf, itu masih di mute, di unmute. Coba di mute dulu.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there any treatment that will make the identity of being Firdaus become a prostitute?
Oh, okay. Because there's because is there in the page 20 in the novel, it tells us there's a sentence say that I saw my uncle hand moving behind the book when he was reading, touching my feet, and the next moment I felt that the hand exploring my thigh. Is there any sentence too in page 100? I don't know 130, but it says that Firdaus become and know that and become a prostitute was created by a man, and it was because since when she was a kid, like her father and her uncle was assault her, so it becomes so he made so it makes Firdaus become such a woman like that. That's it. And is there any question from the others? Okay, if there's nothing a question, I will end the presentation. Thank you everyone. I'm sorry if I have a bad pronunciation or the others. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Bulan. Next, we have Miftakhur Rohmah. You may share your screen.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Miftakhur Rohmah and you can call me Miftah. I'm here to presentation about the Marxism literary criticism in the Diamond Nichols by Albert Guy de Maupassant. The table of the content is a Marxism theory and introduction in the Diamond Nichols, and the third is a Marxism in the Diamond Nichols. And the last is a conclusion. The first is a Marxism theory. The Marxism theory currently criticizes about the different class between the proletariat or the lower class and the bourgeois class or the rich or upper class. And in the theory of classes, the Karl Marx said that every social class was divided into two, the bourgeois class and then the proletariat class, where they was divided or having the difference between the class because it's their class. And then the bourgeois class is the owner of a capital to make a profit, while the proletariat is a worker or the laborer. The relationship between the two are the dominant and the power that force of the owner of money to the workers, because the social and the economic condition have a direct impact and about how and but what the people believe and the value. Marxism aims to transfer the world from the social economic class war to a classless society where everyone has access and to money, opportunity, and education. Also, all and Marxist ultimately goals is that the proletariat will against the bourgeois class, so all the property will given to the government. So there is in the end it will be no class. And then the second is the introduction of the Diamond Nichols. The Diamond Nichols is written by a French author, Albert Guy de Maupassant. The story original published on the February 17, 1884 with the original title La Peur. The story takes the place in the France during 1800s and focus on the family and focus on the living family, the Loisel family, especially Matilda. During that time period, life was hard for the majority people, especially the proletariat people, where they were forced and have no freedom about the lifestyle. And the story tells about the Madame Matilda Loise. She is a beautiful and charming girl, but is forced or born into a poor family where she married to a clerk who works in the Minister of Education. And one day, her husband got an invitation, a very selected invitation from Minister of Education, but she is refused to attend the ball because she doesn't have a fancy dress, so she refused. Then her husband asks her his wife what's the price for the dress so they can go to the ball. She said around 400 francs, but her husband agreed about that. But a few days later, before the ball, she was miserable again because she doesn't have not a single stone that she owns. So her husband suggests her to visit her old friend that she never visit again because the class difference between her was very different. But Madame Forrester, her old friend, was kind, so she lent her a diamond necklace that to Matilda without knowing that it was fake and just worth about 5,000 francs. In the ball, Matilda became the center of the attention. It makes even the Minister of the Education notice her. She danced crazily until 48 in the PM, while her husband slept in the small room waiting her. But in the end, she lost the necklace, so it leads her family to borrow money from various people, and then for 10 years her husband works day and night while Matilda works heavy a course where she never did that. Then they managed to bring back her Madame Forrester Nichols, but her life for 10 years was become miserable. And then the third is a Marxism in the Diamond Nichols. The first is a social struggle in the society. It was noticed when the Loisel family is forced to pay their debts as a consequence of a material past mistake about the Madame Forrester diamond nickels after the ball. They are not realizing it was a fake, and the nickels was only worth 500 because they never own it, and they are from proletariat class, not a bourgeois class where Madame Forrester is a upper class person. So without knowing it, they are bought various money from money from various people, and because of that, their debts was crazy, large of amount of money, and they have to pay every month for 10 years. Her life is become worse than before, where they have to fire their servant and move to a small house. Yeah, it's the social struggle in the society in the diamond nickels. And the second is a jealousy toward the burgess class. Matilda want to be a part of a burgess. She was imagining herself always become a burgess class where she have a beautiful house and the jewelry and the dress, but she was miserable and envious of upper class women, so she avoided seeing and visit her old friend Madame Forrester, because the class differences between them was obviously. Even also Madame Forrester was so kind to lend her a diamond necklace to her when Matilda must to attend the ball. And then the third is a class difference between the burgess class and the proletariat class. It was fairly obvious when Matilda and her husband did not realize it was fake. The diamond was fake because they never owned it. So there are such in every shop in this. Even it's they found diamond nickels in the shop in the near Palace Royal. It was a shop for a store for only for a royal family in the France. So it makes them did not know that the nickels was a fake. And then it's also noticed when her husband, my Monsieur Loise, had to save a large amount of money to buy a gun to when he want to join his friends for a luck shooting in the Naranti, that their friends are from upper class is attend every Sundays. And then the last is when the ball was the start. The Matilda becomes the center of the attention when she wears a fancy dress and having a beautiful jewelry, so it makes her becomes the center. It means that only selected people that can attend the ball, where it was only the place or even where only a burgess class can attend. Yeah. And then the last is for the conclusion is that we can know that her unsatisfied attitude toward anything ultimate leads to the poverty for the Loisel family. I mean, when she was obsessed to be a burgess class, where it was her desire to become of that. It was lead her family to be worse than before. I mean, before she was a family from a working class, that she still can afford a servant, so she never works a heavy course in her house. But because the loss of Madame Forrester diamond nickels and her lack knowledge about the item origins, I mean, when it's fakes or the real one, she never knew, and it's defeats or leads her family life become worse. Worse. Forcing them to pay their debts monthly for 10 years every month. Well, it makes her husband works every night and die, while Matilda had to work a heavy course until but she finally realized that it was because of hers, because her desire and longings to be a upper class woman. She was who dissatisfied with something and continue about that. She realized that it was not her class, where it's not where she should belongs. She should so by the end of the novel, she had to come and realize that that's not her place. So she becomes a different person after the accident. And I think that's all from me. Thank you. Is there any question maybe?
I have one question.
Okay.
The moral value of the story that you can get from this, can you tell?
Okay. The moral value that we can get is that we should grateful for whatever we have, because when we have the obsession about something and it's not success, it's miserable or even a worse life than before. I mean, she should grateful when her husband is the clerk who work on the minister education, where he still can afford a servant, and then I mean he loved her even she was forced to marry him because she cannot marry a upper class man. So I mean, a monster Loisel was love her. I mean, when he was willing to book her a dress rather than pay a gun to join his friends in a lark shooting on every Sundays, it makes know that Madame Loisel should be realizing that it was not her class, that she should be really grateful for having a lifestyle. I mean, that was from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Miftah, for the presentation. And next, I will be present my analysis to you. You see the presentation? Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Difyarizky Pralestyan. My student number is 19,026,158. And I will present Marxist literary theory in My Father Goes to Court by Carlos Bulan. Okay. What is Marxist theory? Marxism theory was initiated by Karl Marx. He was born in Germany in 1818 and died in London in 1883. He initiated the theory to criticize the exploitative actions of the bourgeoisie against the proletariat in capitalism. The theory of Marxism also criticized the differences in socioeconomic class between the poor and the rich. I will explain what is the bourgeois? The bourgeois or the middle class is a capitalism class where they are the owners of the capital who own and exploit labor power and then use the surplus of value from that labor force's employment to accumulate or extend their capital, while the proletariat or the working class are proprietors of productive labor and only proprietors of labor power having no other resources except their hands, bodies, and minds to work with. And this theory also explains how a society shaped the individual's mindset. My Father Goes to Court is a story about a poor family who moved out from their countryside home to the city and ended up neighboring with a rich family who sued them to the court for ridiculous reasons. I will give you a brief summary of the story. Okay, so the story started when a flood destroyed their home in 1818 and destroyed their home and their farm in a small town in an island called Luzon in Philippines. So several years later, they moved to the city, even though they prefer living in the countryside. And then they had a neighbor there in the city, a very rich one. But it seems like they didn't like to come out of their house, even the children. The rich family live in a big, tall house. Their house is very tall. The family inside could see what was happening, what was going on with the family next door through their big windows that they had. And since they're rich, of course, they had servants who served them, who did their chores, their cooking, and everything. And every time the servants cook something, the aroma of the food would fly outside, and the poor family could smell that delicious thing. And because the poor family couldn't afford the food that smells that good, they would inhale the smell and they would see the servants cooking up the chickens, cooking up the bird, cooking up duck, and they would listen to the sizzling sounds of their cooking. And on some days, the rich man would be at the windows just to glare at the poor family. And I guess he didn't like what their neighbors are doing to them. And while he did that, while he glared at them, the poor family lived happily, and they live happily. They live happy as they could be. They went out to the sun. They sunbathing. They bathed in the clear water of the river. They play with one another, with one family to another, and they hang out with other people as well. And they would laughing. Their laugh is contagious. And then as the time went on, because the rich family would stay inside for so long inside of the house, they became sick. The children were pale and thin, and the rich man was coughing day and night, and the same goes to the wife. And then one day the rich man shut down all the windows and would always close the windows for a long time. And the servant still cook something delicious though, and the aroma could still be smelled through the windows. And then one morning, the police came to the poor family's house, and they said that their rich neighbor filed a complaint against them. They accused the poor family of stealing. They accused the poor family of stealing the spirit of wealth and food. So the poor family went to the court the next day. And in the court, the poor family's father sat in the middle of the chair to be judged by the judge. The poor family denied that they stole the spirits, but they claimed that they inhaled the smell. But instead, the father of the poor family, he asked for the rich children to come out. And then the poor family's father pay their fault in front of the judge with the spirit of money. And then the story ended with laughter of the poor family's sister. and then the judge eventually joined the laughter with them. I will explain my analysis. First, social and economic class of Marxist theory is the focus of the theme of the story. The story shows the social economic class that the rich is higher than the poor. Okay. My father, my father goes to court. My father goes to the court. The poor family occupies the house right next to the big house, the rich family, right? So there's a quote that the rich family having a big house with tall structure and big windows, they could see all the activities the poor family does, while the poor family could not do that. And it shows in social economic class that the rich is higher. The rich is higher than the poor, so and they could look down at them. And then the rich family has servants who cook for them, and it is the same thing as working class people who work for the middle class people. And then the aroma of the food would come out, right? And they would inhale the aroma as much as they can. And it indicates that the economic condition of the poor, it would go very worst. It could go worse that the poor would do anything to just survive the harsh society. And then, despite all of that, the poor family lives a healthy, favorable life. Like, like, um, like I mentioned earlier, the sunbathing under the sun. They bathe in the cool, clean water in the river, and then they would hang out with the people around them, while the rich family keeping their doors closed. And saying that the poor family, and then the next day saying that the poor family had been stealing the spirit of his wealth and food. So it indicates the differences between how the poor family and the rich family live their lives. One is closed off and very individualist, while the rich family lives their life as a happy family, even as a happy family. And then the conclusion is the significant differences between the two kinds of society. For the rich family is the middle class people, while the poor family is the working class people. And then people used to be divided into two groups of classes, which is the different classes, which is bourgeois and the proletariat. And then this theory criticizes the exploitative actions between the bourgeois against the proletariat. Yes, that's my conclusion. You guys have any questions?
I have a question for you, Vida. About why does that one family have a carefree lifestyle and seems relaxed even though they are poor family?
Because why the poor family have a carefree lifestyle? I think it was because that's how they do their life when they used to live in the countryside. They came from the countryside. They came from the countryside where the society there is much more lively. They like to hang out with other people. They like to socialize with other people. They like to laugh, and then they like to chat here and there. And unlike the city, while there is more individualist. So that's why in the beginning they prefer the the poor family prefer the countryside more than the city. So I think that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Wida, for the answer.
Thank you for asking. And I think that's all from me. That's it for my presentation. I'm sorry if there was any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And last for today is Nur Annisa Mutia. You may share your screen.
Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear your voice.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Annisa Meutiasari, and this time I will present a short story entitled Air or Water by Jinar Maisa Ayu. So, the first is introduction. This study focused on feminism regarding the struggle of female characters in the short story Air or Water by Chinar Maisa Ayu from the short story. The female character experiences an injustice, then the female character fights the injustice to prosper her life. The problem of this research is about the struggles of female characters. This study aims to describe the struggles of female characters in the story Air or Water by Jinar Maisayu. This short story is set in the life of a woman who struggles and works hard to raise her child without getting any accountability from the baby future father. And next is analysis. This study results in the form of struggle experienced by the female character or the main character in the short story Air or Water by Chinar Ayu. And then the struggles found in the short story Air or Water by Chinar Ayu, namely the female character struggles to maintain her womb even though the man does not want the child to be born and has the heart to leave the female character pregnant. These conditions make female characters struggle and work hard In the short story Air or Water, there is nothing wrong with the character's decision to take care of the baby, with or without the presence of the father. The struggles continues, and this shows that being feminine does not always mean weak and should be protecting is everyone's obligation to the people they love. Feminism is only a characteristic, not a crucial thing that can be used as a reason to be seconded. Next, this analysis aims to describe the forms of struggles of female characters against oppression from men and can give a positive message or impression that can be taken by readers of literary works. The essence of the problem that occurs is that the female character is left by the prospective father of the baby branch because the man did not want to have children because he felt he was too young to be a father. In the end, the female character struggles to live alone to take care of her child from the womb to growing up. The result of this feminist research are expected to be able to produce benefits for readers who like literary works and are able to provide relevant results according to the title, namely to produce an overview of the struggles experienced by female characters. And the conclusion from the short story entitled Air or Water by Chinar Maisa Ayu, this research found several forms of women's struggles who experience from of injustice carried out by irresponsible men. The woman in the short story Air or Water by Jeremiah Ayu fights for her baby from being in the womb to growing into a teenager. The character B decides to keep the baby while the father simply panics that he is too young to raise the baby. Depending on the responsibility to courage of a man when faced with such conditions, meanwhile at the same time the strength of a woman's heart actually overcomes her fear of anything. And basically, women are the best of noble people because women are special people who must be respected and treated well. If not for today, women are really looked down upon by men. Women are abused and their dignity is trampled on by men who don't want to be responsible. For men and women are only weak and easily seduced people who can satisfy his passion and be left without any sense of responsibility. Maybe, uh, do you have any question?
Um, I have a question about, in your opinion, why does this short story become a feminism theory?
Okay, thank you for your question. So, because this short story tells of the struggles, the female character struggles to maintain her pregnancy even though the male does not want the child to be born, and he has the heart to let the female character get pregnant. This condition make female characters struggles and work hard. The female character becomes a single parent, struggling to support the needs of her children and for daily needs. We want to work hard and not take time off work, even though her condition has started to contract in her stomach is getting bigger every month to earn money to eat healthy and nutritious food so that her child grows up well, healthy and smart. The female character realizes the meaning of hard life. If she doesn't work, she can live much longer, let alone to support her baby child. Baby needs and equipment certainly requires a lot of money. She positions herself according to what she needs. Struggling and working hard is the right choice for a female character whose status is a single parent, and he is able to bear the burden of his life. He is responsible for the decision he takes, which involve heavy risks for the sake of survival. So, because this research focused on the struggle of female character in the short story Air or Water by Jenar Maisai. So, maybe that's all I can say. I apologize if there are mistakes. Thank you.
Before
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
that,
wabarakatuh.
I'm sorry, Meo. Itu tadi pertanyaan dari Vida. Maaf, soalnya tadi ada agak problem sedikit.
Gimana?
Thank you, Mutia, for the presentation. Now, we all done our presentation, and I think that's all from us. Thank you so much for presenting your analysis. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you teman-teman.